We'll start with roll call.
Rob Caruth,
Present.
Derek Gerken,
Present.
Nancy Hopper. Nancy Hopper,
Here.
Terry Lapp,
Here.
John Proudy,
Here.
Todd Schneider, Melissa Smits present.
Okay, now if you'll join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we have approval of previous minutes.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Rob Caruth,
Aye.
Derek Gerken,
Aye.
Nancy Hopper. Aye. Terry Lapp,
Aye.
John Proudy,
Aye.
Melissa Smits, aye.
Okay. Now we have the table file and agenda changes and approval of agenda.
I move we approve the agenda with the added table file.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Rob Caruth,
Aye.
Derek Gerken,
Aye.
Nancy Hopper,
Aye.
Terry Lapp,
Aye.
John Proudy,
Aye.
Melissa Smits, aye.
Okay, now is opportunity for the audience. Nothing. All right. And, okay, on to our reports. So our Fort Morgan High School student representative couldn't be here tonight, but we see his updates there.
Do you want me to read them for the
Um,
audience members? I would just
yes.
a really quick update from Fort Morgan High School. The baseball team has their first game tomorrow at Roosevelt at 4 o'clock. Girls golf is underway and has had some bad luck with weather. A couple girls golfed in Brush today. It was really cold. I saw Greg Gatto this afternoon. Their next tournament will be Thursday. Girls tennis started last week and will have their first match on Wednesday at Thompson Valley. Girls soccer has their first game on Thursday against Weld Central. Seniors' last week of school is this week. The senior slideshow is Thursday, May 6th at 11:50 a.m. in the Fort Morgan High School auditorium. Parents are welcome to attend, must sit in the balcony. They are actually having all students attend the senior slideshow. And in regards to graduation, and Mateo must be very excited to be finished. Seniors have 3 days left in school. The graduation parade is Saturday, May 15th. That's at 2 o'clock. Graduation is Sunday, May 16th, 2 o'clock at Legion Field.
Great, thank you. Any reports from the board? None? Okay. Now to our superintendent, Dr. Rena Frasco.
I don't have necessarily any updates, except for when you come down to the action item, I am asking for the board to approve migrant education grant. We've not had to apply for a few years because it was on a cyclical 3-year cycle, but this year kind of we're up, so we'll have a $100,000 allocation from BOCES as the sub-grantee, and we'll be continuing the work with our migrant family outreach coordinator, which has been super successful. So just asking for approval on that item this evening.
Okay, thank you. Now on to our finance advisor, Mike Lee.
In your packet, you have the March financial statements for your review. Don't really have a whole lot to address. We're just tracking right along with budget for our balance of our 2021 year. Would like to have you spin over to the far right-hand budget percentages. If you look at salaries and benefits, we should be in a 1/12 world of budget, we should be about 75%. We're 74.83, so we're about as close to being on track, budget as we could. We're just a hair over in benefits. We are up somewhat in the supplies and materials category. A year ago, we were probably a good 0.5%, a little bit more under budget. So our budget for 2021 was based on what I thought was gonna be actual compensation. And we're just really close to that, so we're not gonna see the full employment savings of what we have seen in prior time frames, but we're right on track and don't see anything unusual at all in what's going on with financials. Just a couple other quick things. We got the notice of the rural funding from CDE, and we've been, in the couple years we got that, we were about 450,000 approximately, but the allocation for RE3 for the upcoming 21-22 year for that rural funding is gonna be up 570,000 for RE3. Generally, we've linked that in our past funding of that to capital purchases, and my initial thought is that would be a good spot for our bus acquisition costs. I don't know that we'll get buses by the end of June, but really doesn't matter, but we can attribute those costs to that overall rural funding reallocation the legislature's done. The bond underwriters also, I'm hoping to have this tomorrow. We should have what's called the state intercept rating, and that's a statewide rating based on the financial analysis of our own district financials, but we should have our intercept rating. That's what goes into the official statement document that will go out to investors for the refinance of our 2015 bond issue. So hopefully we'll have that tomorrow, and then we should be able to get that official statement in the marketplace, and then we'll have bids to our refinancing project. Interest rates have been kind of much more calm, kind of stable where we last left off, so we're looking at least $500,000 plus savings in our refinance of the 2015 bond issue. And we got closed on our capital lease proceeds for the high school and our expanded additional scope projects, so that money is deposited in the CSAFE account, and we're now getting bills. Got the bill just this week for construction from JHL. That's the first bill we've got from them, so that's gonna spin down pretty quick, because we're gonna be paying final bills by, say, October. So we've got a pretty short turnaround to get the project going, but I was hoping to have our concrete additional flat work on the south entryway and our snow melt, thank you. I was trying to think of the correct terminology, snow melt system on the north new entryway, but they're really dragging their feet on getting us those two numbers. I hope that's not a bad sign, but we have a meeting tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. But so that's about what I have for the board.
Thank you. Okay, our HR Director, Brian Childress.
Good evening, Board. Just a quick note that one of the action items in front of you tonight is the non-renewal list. A big shout out to our principal crew. They work very, very hard on the evaluation process to make sure that that is a fair process, that it's a growth process, and at the end of a year, we do have a couple of people who may not be a fit for many different reasons, and so that list is in front of you, but know that they've worked very hard communicating with those staff members and coaching those staff members all year long. And what you're seeing tonight is a representative of a lot of hard work. So kudos to those guys. And then we'll spend some time together in the exec session talking about negotiations.
Thank you. Okay, on to our consent agenda. There's the personnel action report and list of checks for March. Can we get approval of consent agenda?
I'd move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call?
Rob Carew,
Aye.
Derek Gerken,
Aye.
Nancy Hopper. Nancy Hopper,
Yes, I approve, thank you.
Terry Lapp,
Aye.
John Proudy,
Aye.
Melissa Smith's aye.
Okay, on to our action items. Action item A is the renewals and non-renewals of certified and classified staff for the 2021-2022 school year.
I move we approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call?
Rob Carew,
Aye.
Derek Gerken,
Aye.
Nancy Hopper,
Aye.
Terry Lapp,
Aye.
John Proudy,
Aye.
Melissa Smith's aye.
Okay, action item B is the Migrant Education Program grant for the 2021-2022 school year.
I move we approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call?
Rob Carew,
Aye.
Derek Gerken,
Aye.
Nancy Hopper,
Aye.
Terry Lapp,
Aye.
John Proudy,
Aye.
Melissa Smith's aye.
Okay. For our advanced planning, this week is National Teacher Appreciation Week. The Lincoln High School graduation ceremony is May 7th, which is that this weekend, Friday?
Friday
Yeah.
night at 7, yep.
At Baker.
I love that graduation.
National Lunch Hero Day is May 7th. The Fort Morgan High School Senior Banquet is May 10th at 6 p.m. The Baccalaureate is May 14th. The high school graduation parade is May 15th, and our next regular meeting, regular graduation is May 16th, or regular, whatever you want to call it.
That'll be school.
Yeah.
Fort Worth High
It's
School.
not on there, so I was trying to make that up, and that wasn't very good. The last day of school is May 21st, and the end-of-year staff picnic is May 21st. The work session for our June board meetings is on Tuesday, June 1st, and the Board of Education meeting in June are June 7th. It's June 7th, we just have one. And our special meeting begins at 7 a.m. on Wednesday, June 30th, so we have two. So now tonight we have executive session A for determination of positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, development of strategy for negotiations, and instruction of negotiators for CRS 24-6-402 subsection 4 subsection E. And please invite Dr. Rena Frasco and Dr. Brian Childress and Mr. Mike Lee to attend the executive session with the board. And we will have executive session B for purchase, acquisition, lease, transfer, or sale of any real personal or other property. However, no executive session shall be held to conceal the fact that a member of the board has a personal interest in such property transaction according to CRS 24-6-402 subsection 4 subsection A. And please invite Dr. Rena Frasco and Mr. Mike Lee to attend the executive session with the board.
I move to go into executive session A with Dr. Frasco, Dr. Brian Childress, and Mr. Mike Lee in attendance.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
That was just for A.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I made a motion. Okay, roll call.
Rob Karuk,
Aye.
Derek Gerken,
Aye.
Nancy Hopper,
Aye.
Terry Lapp,
Aye.
John Proudy,
Aye.
Melissa Smith, aye.
Now am I supposed to say B? Or are we going to A first?
Oh. Break up at the same time, can't we?
Yeah, so I should have just waited to say it.
I'll move to go into executive session B after we complete executive session A and, with Dr. Frasco and Mr. Lee in attendance.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Rob Karuk,
Aye.
Derek Gerken,
Aye.
Nancy Hopper,
Aye.
Terry Lapp,
Aye.
John Proudy,
Aye.
Melissa Smith, aye.
All right. So we'll go ahead and, because I don't adjourn this, do
No.
I? No, yeah, so we're, are we staying in here or are we going in the small room?
It's probably easiest to stay in here because Nancy's,
Okay, I think that's fine.
And I set up,
Nancy's here.
yeah, I set up a new meeting, so if I start